Yeah, we'll start today sitting cross-legged. And as always, I invite you to pull the flesh back behind your sit bones. Hi, kitty. You can really feel how the bones in the buttocks can release you down into the earth, providing a sense of stability and maybe even safety, knowing that the earth is holding you and that the bones can just release down and support you. And it's nice to feel the support of the bones because it helps us let the muscles go. We don't have to use them to hold ourselves up. You can let go of the belly and just see if that softening belly can receive a little more breath. And then breathing intentionally down into the belly, feeling the belly expand out as you breathe in. And relax back in as you breathe out. Breathing in, the belly expands. Breathing out, the belly relaxes. And then deepening the breath so that after the belly is full, the ribs expand. And breathe there. You can feel the breath both in two parts and as one continuous breath, moving from belly to ribs. See if you can feel the body relaxing on the exhale. And then we'll complete the breath, breathing belly, ribs, chest. First the belly fills, then the ribs expand out, and then the chest lifts. Shoulders relaxing down. And then bring the hands onto the shoulders with the fingers forward and the thumbs back. And make big circles around with the elbows. See if your body just naturally coordinates the movement and the breath. What part of this movement does it make sense to breathe in? And then circle the other way. Last one. Returning the hands to the lap. And start to draw a circle in the air in front of your face with your nose. Starting off small and then getting bigger. And see if the movement can be gentle so that it feels like your head is floating around in circles, not striving or straining in any way. And then you can reverse directions, this time moving from bigger to smaller circles. Back to stillness. And then bring the hands to the ground in front of you. And just bring the hands over to one side and then over to the other. I wonder if those of you who are down in the training room might configure yourselves differently so that I can see all three of you rather than the person in front blocking the person in back. Thank you. That's good. Perfect. Okay. And back to center. Sitting back up. Release the legs and place the feet on the ground, nice and wide. And let the knees drop from side to side. Just warming up the hips. And see if you've forgotten about your breath and come back to it. Feeling that same breathing, deep and slow. Beautiful. And back to center. Let's bring the heels together so that there's a square inside the legs. Flexing the feet. Pull the flesh of the buttocks back behind the sit bones. And inhale and reach arms up. Exhale and fold over the legs. Try to relax the arms so that any part of your arm is in contact with any part of your leg. You can release the weight of the arm right there into the leg and use that to help the arms relax. And then see if that relaxation can carry through into the rest of the body. Relaxing the head. And then as you breathe that same deep breath, maybe noticing it in the back body. The back ribs expanding. As you exhale, you can draw the belly in toward the spine. Continuing to let go. The more you breathe in, the more you breathe out, and the more you breathe out, the more the body can relax. Okay, and then we'll roll on up, reaching up with an inhale, releasing down with an exhale. Then send the legs out wide. Start with the hands behind you, and if you can and if you want, you can press down into the hands to get the buttocks to come up off the floor, and then bring it forward without changing the placement of the feet. And then keeping the hands behind, we'll just point and flex the feet. So see if when you flex, the knees want to bend a little bit, and resist that. Pressing down into the ground with the thighs, perhaps. Okay. And then inhale and reach the arms up. Exhale, come down to the left, bringing the left arm in front of the left leg, the right arm overhead. And then as you breathe in, imagine breathing from the left ribs up into the right ribs, spiraling your body open a little bit more. And then you can press the back of the left arm into the inside of the leg to help that as well. And then press out through the heels and reach out through the right hand. Maybe closing the eyes and connecting a little more with the feel of the breath inside the body, seeing where it goes, if it's deep or shallow, if it's difficult or easy. On your next inhale, lift up, reach the arms up. Exhale to the other side, placing the arm or hand to the inside of the leg. And then inhale, rolling those left ribs up, gazing up. Exhale over to the right, reaching out, pressing out through the heels. Next inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, release the arms down, either bringing the hands back behind you and staying here and just concentrating on lifting the chest, or if you can keep the chest open and lifted with the hands in front of you, you can bring the hands in front and let yourself hinge forward from the hips without rounding through the back. And you can maybe let go of any effort other than to breathe and feel the breath. And just notice how when you exhale, there's a letting go. And for those of you who are folding forward, that letting go doesn't have to, but it may release you over a little bit more. Don't get attached to that, because then you'll probably end up just creating strain that is counterproductive, or rounding your back, which makes the stretch less deep, not more deep. And we bring attention away from the intensity of the stretch by focusing on the breath. And then if your arms are forward, walk them in to lift yourself up. And then we'll all reach the arms up. Inhale. Exhale the arms down to the legs, helping the legs come to the front. You might shake them out a little bit. Beautiful. Bend the left leg, bringing the foot to the inside of the right leg. Flex the right foot really strongly, pressing down into the thigh and forward through the heel, pulling in through the toes. Reach the arms up, breathe in. Exhale, fold over the leg, resting one arm on either side, dropping the head, and dropping the elbows. Even if the arms are straight, you can still create a little bit of a softening by just having a micro bend in the elbows, just so nothing is locked or rigid. And we continue to press down into the right thigh. And as you inhale, lengthen out through the crown of the head, making the spine longer. As you exhale, draw the belly in and relax. Explore the full length of your breath. And then walk the hands in, roll yourself up, reach the arms up, inhale. Exhale, turn to your left, bringing the right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind you. Press down into the left hand, And lift tall through the crown of the head. And then exhale and turn. And then continue like that with each inhale, lifting and lengthening. With each exhale, softening and turning. And then use an inhale to come back around to the front. Straighten the left leg and bend the right one. Press down into that left thigh, out through the heel, in through the toes. Inhale, arms up. Try to stay long as you come forward so that you're kind of reaching your heart toward your toes, and then relaxing the arms, relaxing the elbows, dropping the head. The only thing that's working is that leg. You're staying engaged through the leg. Long, slow breath. You might experiment and just try one breath that's really long, that you keep breathing in until there's no more space left for any more air, and then just see what that does, how that feels. On an inhale, roll yourself up, reach up. Exhale, turn to the right, bringing the hands across to the knee. The other hand comes behind you in a way that supports you in being straight upright, not leaning back or sideways in any way. And then when you inhale, you lift up taller. When you exhale, you soften and guide yourself into the twist with your left hand. On an inhale, return to center. Bring that left foot in. Flip over your ankles onto hands and knees. So you can come on to fists, or you can come on to hands. Okay. And we're just going to take a moment here and just let the body move around, kind of let the spine be watery, just moving in any way. that might feel good, or maybe doesn't feel good but feels necessary because it's stiff. Okay. And then we'll have the hands come a little bit forward, and we'll come into a dolphin pose, lowering, lifting, coming back. And try to make it fluid, just like a dolphin. It's just one continuous movement. You're not pausing, you're just flowing. And see if you can coordinate the movement with the breath. And the next time you come down, stay on your belly. Plant your hands under your shoulders, your forehead on the ground, your elbows by your side. And just take a moment to reconnect with the breathing process. And then as you exhale, sink the bones of your hips and pelvis into the ground. On your next exhale, press slightly forward through the fingers, just gently forward through the fingers, rolling the shoulders down the back a little bit more. And then on your next inhale, lift your head, lift your chest. You can stay here in a low cobra, or you can push into the hands and come up into a king cobra. Except we don't want this kind of thing happening here. This is a chest opener. So roll the shoulders back, stick the chest forward. So you might aim your back ribs toward your front ribs. Let your eyes roll up. And then spiral your hands on the ground away from each other. So they're not going to really move, but there's a little intention to move. The left hand turning left and the right hand turning right. And the breath coming up into the heart. And then press into your hands. Push your hips back to your heels, coming into mecha pose. Arms extending forward, giving a little press forward to help lengthen your spine and counter stretch. And then like you're polishing your spine with your breath, breathe up and down your body. Take it over to the right, reaching that left arm across on the diagonal, placing the right hand beside you, pushing into the right hand to send the left hip back. And notice how the breath changes shape or position, particularly if the right side of the belly is resting at the thigh. What does that do to the breath? Good. Now come on to the right fingertips. Press into them. Lift yourself up and send the left arm up and back. And if you're not able to do this with your fingertips still on the ground, you can just bring your hand to your hip. Stretching open that left side so nicely with the breath. Coming up under those ribs, reaching out of the fingers, and then flex your hands so that you're trying to bring the palm to face up. And then try to stretch the fingers out straight. Beautiful. Relax the hand, come back down, come over into your mecha pose again. Pressing forward with the hands and back through the hips. And then take it over to the left, reaching across on the diagonal. Left hand beside you, pushing into the ground. Lengthening that right hip back. Creating more length by breathing into it. Can you feel the breath coming into the ribs? And then come up onto the left fingertips, press into them to lift yourself up. Send the right arm up, send the hips forward. So if the only way you can be in this position and have the fingers touching is if the hips are behind you, then you'll just release the hand to the hip so that the hips can be in front of you. And now we'll flex the hand at the wrist so the palm faces up. And really stretch those fingers nice and straight. And relax the hand. Come back down. One last time into mecha pose. Just a little counter stretch there. And lift your hips off your heels, keeping your hands where they are. Spread the fingers wide apart. Curl the toes under. Inhale. And then exhale. Lift the knees, but keep the knees bent, please. And then push forward into the hands, trying to bring the ribs toward the thighs. Drop the head down. And then roll the shoulders down the back. And see if you can keep the shoulders down the back and then press into the fingers again without making that space in the shoulders at all, letting it come into the spine. Good. And then just wag your tail a little bit here. The knees are still bent. Just sending the hips from side to side. Good. And then press the left heel down. Now straighten the right leg without pressing the heel down. So we're keeping that right hip lifted. Just the leg is straight.
And then push forward into the hands and down into that left heel. Lengthening back toward the sit bones. Good. And then change. Lower the left heel down and lift the right heel up so that right hip, the right heel down and lift the left heel up so that left hip is lifted. Or if I'm saying it wrong, you know what to do, just the opposite. See if you can continue to be aware of the hands shifting weight back. Okay, and then press both heels down. Sink the chest a little more. Drop the head down completely. Breathe belly, ribs, chest. And then walk the feet forward, up to the hands, keeping the knees bent. Take opposite elbows and sway from side to side.
See if you can do it with even more abandon. Just kind of letting the momentum swing you like a pendulum.
Come center, release the hands, keep the knees soft, tuck the chin and roll yourself up.
Turn the palms to face out, bring the arms forward, up, back, and down. Again, palms face out, arms come forward. You can look up at your hands, come back, and down. Let's do a couple more. Moving with the breath. Last one. And then just let the arms relax down by your sides. If you're comfortable doing so, you can close the eyes. Feeling the heaviness of the feet on the ground. Feeling the lightness of the breath inside. Let the eyes open softly, gazing down at a spot in front of you on the floor. Bend the knees. Shift weight into the left leg. Feel your breath. And then bring the right ankle on top of the left thigh, flexing the right foot. Draw a line with your eyes from the place where they're currently looking toward your left foot as you fold forward over your legs. You can rest the hands on that right leg, or you can thread that right arm through and rest them around the left leg. Stay with your breath. Slowly lift up and send that right leg all the way back. Good. Back heel on the floor, that foot at an angle. Front knee moves forward. Right thigh presses back. So you have this kind of tug of war going on between the legs. And then aim the tailbone forward. Aim the right hip for the left knee. In fact, let's bring that right arm forward, just straight ahead, and then over to the left. And then push back into the right foot as you press forward through the right hand. Feel the breath. And then send that right arm up. Send the left arm up. Bring the shoulders down, lift the heart. Maybe drop lower into your stance. Beautiful. And then we'll step up and release the arms down. Closing the eyes. Feeling the feet. Feeling the breath. Bending the knees. Open the eyes, gazing down at the ground. See if even though the eyes are open, there's still a very internal awareness happening that's focused on the breath coming in and going out. And then when you're ready, lift the left foot, place it above the right knee, flexing that left foot. Feeling the breath. Draw a line with your eyes straight toward your right foot, taking whatever arm position you like, maybe even dropping the head. Primary awareness on the breath. Eyes don't move. And then lift up and send that left leg back behind you. Pressing back through the left thigh, forward through the right knee, tucking the tailbone under. Let's send the left arm forward and then over to the right and see if it can kind of bring that hip forward and over as well. And then push back into the left foot as you reach forward with the left hand, keeping the tailbone under. Send the left arm up, send the right arm up, send the heart up. And then as you exhale, you might sink a little bit lower, bending deeper into that front leg. Ground through your feet. Good. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, release the arms down. Just take a moment to feel the stillness and to feel the movement inside the stillness. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale the hands behind you, clasping, interlacing the fingers. Start with the hands on your back, and the elbows bent. And then act like you're trying to pull your hands apart and see if that helps squeeze the elbows closer in toward each other. And then straighten the arms. Breathe across your chest. And then exhale and fold, lifting the arms, lifting the belly, dropping the head. And just maybe rocking a little bit from the toes to the heels. See if when you go into the heels, maybe the belly can come down toward the thighs a little more. Come back to stillness. And release the hands. Bring them to the ground, bending the knees. Lower the buttocks all the way down to the heels. And onto the ground. The hands are forward on the chest or up in that order of difficulty. Almost slowly lower the body to the ground. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock lengthwise in your spine. We're going to come into plow pose. If you don't want to be upside down or your neck doesn't like this, then you can come into any posture that you prefer, or maybe just rest your buttocks on your hands and lift the legs. If you're coming into plow pose, you're flipping all the way over with your legs, bringing your hands to your back for support, trying to bring the toes to the floor behind you. Roll your shoulders under one at a time. And if your toes are on the floor, then press up through the thighs. Notice how this naturally creates an ujjayi breath, bringing the breath into the throat. Completely folding in half, just like in downward dog, just trying to move your legs toward your chest instead of your chest toward your legs. Feet toward the floor. And hopefully if your shoulders are under you enough, you're on your shoulders and not your neck at all. Okay, let's bring the knees to the forehead and slowly lay the spine down. We'll let the legs rest on the hands. So if any of you were already in that posture, the rest of us will join you now with the legs up. And then we'll slowly lower the legs down with control, with the hips resting on the hands. So your hands are under your sacrum. Don't forget to breathe. And once the legs have come down, you can remove your hands. Bend your knees. Just rock a couple of times side to side. And then lower the feet. Lift the hips. Tuck the tailbone. Release the legs. Shake them out. If you're using an eye pillow, you can place that on your eyes now. And we'll all let the arms rest out to the side with the palms facing up. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the weight of the body into the ground. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the jaw, letting the lips part. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the activity of the mind. Words and images fall away as the mind gets fully absorbed in the feeling of the breath. Letting go of the breath so that it just breathes for you, but watching it, paying attention, without judgment, just curiosity. Okay, that's how this breath feels. Letting the mind become so preoccupied with the breath, there's no room for anything else. And if the mind wanders away from the breath, you just bring it back again. Deeply relaxed. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go. breathe into your heart. Move the fingers and the toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath. Stretch long. Hug the knees to the chest. Rocking side to side. Feeling the ground massaging your back. Come center, rub hand to hand and foot to foot. Roll onto your side. Rest your head on your underside arm. Rest your body on the ground. Rest your mind by continuing to feel the breath. Appreciating the breath. And slowly pressing yourself up to sitting. Coming into any comfortable seated position. If your legs are crossed, you might want to cross them in your non-habitual way. Since we started, probably the other way. Sinking down into the sit bones, lifting through the crown of the head. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Inhale the heart up to the hands. Exhale, shoulders relax down. Inhale deeply, take a breath in from bottom to top. Take it all in and let it all go. Drop the chin to the chest. Namaste.